with people who have disabilities, etc. Only Labour will do that for you. Let us re-elect the Dominica Labour Party. Labour. Mao, Masak, and Taru are noted for the fishings. And of course, we have wonderful and young fisher folks in the community. Already we are working with the fisher folks. We are assisting them in many ways. And a new term, we shall see the commencement of work on a new jetty in Mao. I want a mini outlet in Mao for the fisher folks, my dear friends. And landing site also for both Taru and Masak. Labour. Labour. Sports, my dear friends, and culture. We are proposing, as you have seen, we have started the indoor facility in Masak. And I want to say to you, we have on island the sitting facility, the lighting, and of course, the flooring is also on island. Initially, we were thinking of building the sitting accommodation, but we have actually bought the sitting facility, and it's right now in Dominica. Only Labour will continue and to finish this indoor facility in Belfast, in Masak, my dear friends. We are also proposing a sport council so that we can develop academies not only in football, but in cricket, so that our young people can live wholesome lives. We started an academy, and I want to commend Mr. Shane Marshall, and we have one of the best academies, football academies in Dominica, and we shall have also a cricket academy going forward, my dear friends. And we are also proposing, my dear friends, we're also proposing, my dear friends, that in Masak, the spot next to the basketball facility shall be transformed to a playing field, my dear friends. Only Labour will do that for you. My dear friends, it has been an honor serving you. And I put myself before you here tonight for another chance to continue to fight for you and to make Maho constituency what it needs to be going forward, my dear friends. Every one of you has a stake and a say in this year's election, my dear friends. You must go to your polling stations and to make the right choice to vote for the Dominica Labour Party. We may not be there. To witness the unfolding of the aspirations and dreams of our grandchildren and children. But at least, we have the moral responsibility to create the path for the development, my dear friends. And Labour provides that path for the advancement of our young people. Labour provides that path for transforming every aspect of our development in this country. And it's always safer and better with the Dominica Labour Party. Let the campaign be characterized by progressive ideas of Labour. Labour has delivered, and Labour will continue to deliver on behalf of all of us in Mao constituency and Dominica as a whole. That is why, my dear friends, you must reward the Dominica Labour Party and to give the best leader in the history of politics of Dominica, the Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, 5 more years. Labour, go out when elections are called and vote in Maho, vote in Masak, vote in Rosa Central, vote in Portsmouth, and re-elect the Dominica Labour Party. Thank you very much.
We shall not be moved. Just like the trees that bend it by the waters. Labour Party shall not be moved. I run things in Dominica.
Yes. Let's welcome
the leader of the Dominican Labour Party, Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit.
As I open my eyes, I give thanks a life of my voice. Oh, yes, sir. As the days go by, yeah. Out comes the sun, shining on my face again. Grades get me high so I can meditate. Oh, dreams of brighter days. Highest grades we blaze. Dreams of brighter days.
Thank you. And welcome, Prime Minister. Tonight is a very serious night. The launching of a party's manifesto is a very important juncture in any political campaign. And tonight, you will hear the plans and programs that the Dominican Labour Party has in store for Dominica. Building a new Dominica, season of development. And tonight, we have the assurance that whatever we present here tonight will be delivered to Dominica. Because the Dominican Labour Party has demonstrated that it keeps its promises. And with Prime Minister Skerrit, we will ensure that we deliver. So, as we move to the beginning of the unfolding of our manifesto, it is my pleasure to introduce the Prime Minister, a young professional from the constituency of Maho, from the village of Maho, Mr. Kasani Laville.
Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit and Mrs. Skerrit, Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Reginald Austri, other members of Cabinet, parliamentarians, distinguished candidates, supporters and well-wishers, organizers, Dominicans, labor rights! Good evening to all of you, and may I say, welcome to Maho City. I am humbled to have been given the task of introducing to you a gentleman who to this day can be described as the most energetic, visionary, and transformational political leader in the Commonwealth of Dominica. I remember the time when I was on the cusp of pursuing further studies. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, newly appointed as Prime Minister, began the mission of having a university graduate in every home. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a proud product of this mission. On my return to Dominica as a civil engineer, I worked with my pal rep, Honorable Rayburn Blackmore. Pal rep, we really work hard, boy. I have seen firsthand the development of this country. Before resilience was the buzzword we know today, I remember designing retaining walls, river walls that is, after Ophelia. Lest we forget, it was right here in Maho that we held the opening of the E.O. Libla Highway. A substantial benefit and one of the 4 pillars that our Prime Minister negotiated while fostering this bold new relationship with the People's Republic of China. My friends, we have received much more from that diplomatic relationship. The construction of the new Dominica State College, where our children now have the privilege of obtaining tuition-free education. We have seen the construction of the Windsor Park Sports Stadium, which hosts regional and international sporting events, music festivals, and national competitions. Most recently, we witnessed the opening of the first phase of the China-Dominica Friendship Hospital, which houses the accident and emergency So when the Prime Minister and his hard-working team tell us the hospital will be completed soon, it is not pie in the sky. It is pie in the hand for us to enjoy and for us to benefit from, ladies and gentlemen. And so, with all the developments happening under this Labour administration, led by our Prime Minister, I saw an opportunity to pursue a career in engineering as an entrepreneur. And now I operate a consultancy that has provided employment for technical professionals who have also benefited from the education revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just to say that in the story of Roosevelt Skerritt tenure as Prime Minister of Dominica, I created my own narrative, and I know you have your story. And that is why you are voting Labour on 6th of December 2019. I have heard and witnessed many of your stories. Some have led me to tears. So when the naysayers approach you, tell them your peace. It is etched in your consciousness. Do not remain silent about these truths. Tell them of the results of the visionary leadership of this caring and responsible Prime Minister and his dedicated and devoted team. Tell them how the Yes We Care program is caring for your auntie and your uncle while providing employment for the youths. Tell them, I say tell them. Tell them how Dominica Youth Business Trust supported you in securing funding while providing a network of mentors for your business. For those in the private sector, particularly the hoteliers, manufacturers, agro-processors, tell them about duty-free waivers and your opportunity to access low-interest loans from Aid Bank. Tell them this government has met with you regularly to discuss public-private partnerships. Tell them. Farmers, speak about the market security and inputs that you have received through contracts with Dexia. Tell them, I say tell them. Civil servants, civil servants, tell them you have more disposable income because the income tax threshold was increased. Tell them about the support the government is providing for you to pursue higher education while still remaining in your jobs. Tell them that the 4% mortgage facility that you obtained from the Government Housing Loans Board is the lowest interest rate available, and that is how you have come to own your home. Tell them, I say tell them. And I am not finished. There is more. There is more. Do we remember Double Bubble? Thank you. Tell them how the government honored its commitment to pay twice your salary in December 2017, less than 3 months after we were struck by the worst disaster in our recent history. Tell them, I say, tell them. We are not finished. Now I implore you to invoke the spirit of recollection and tell the new voters how in the past administration you had to wait long past month end to get your salary. Magwesa. Tell them, I tell you, Dio, Mwedio, Dio. Tell them how Roosevelt Skerritt and the Dominican Labour Party restored sanity to the fiscal irresponsibility and economic chaos left behind by a reckless United Workers' Party government. Who was booted out after 4.5 years. Tell them, I say, tell them. And for those of you who come from more difficult circumstances and backgrounds, tell them you can't even remember what a pit latrine is. Because you now have your new reinforced concrete resilient homes, ladies and gentlemen. So I say to you, when they frown on the public assistance programs, the Red Clinic, tell them the doctor is open to every Dominican and he will not rest till all lives have been transformed. He will not sleep He will not sleep unless all of us can sleep in peace with pride and dignity. Tonight, I am confident that this Labour Party manifesto, there is much more in store for every single Dominican to be transformed and to be resilient. My friends, fellow Dominicans, labor rights! I cannot wait to see what lies ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor, an absolute privilege to introduce to you a man who is going to add so much more to this story. Your very own Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit.
Out comes the sun, shining on my face again. Grades get me high so I can meditate. Dreams of brighter days. Highest grades we blaze.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I first of all wish to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Cassidy Laville for a most generous introduction. And I must also say that it is people like you, Cassidy, who make me feel proud of Dominica. Who has demonstrated with some commitment, some discipline, you can in fact make it in our Commonwealth of Dominica. And I also want to commend your mother, and of course your father is looking down on heaven on you and us, because I know he would have been here tonight in support of what's happening in Dominica. I want to recognize my colleagues who are here, my 20 other colleagues who make up the Dominican Labour Party's team for the 2019 general elections in our country. And of course, to you, all of you who are gathered here tonight at the Maho playing field, I want to wish you a very good evening. I greet those of you in Dominica, those in the diaspora, and those joining us via the live stream. 9 days ago, the bell was rung, signaling the start of the general election campaign
here in Dominica. Comrades and friends, tonight we have arrived at a very important moment in the campaign. The launch of the Dominica Labour Party's 2019 Manifesto. This is an historic moment. It is a serious moment. The Dominica Labour Party is seeking to get an unprecedented fifth term in office. We are not doing so because we feel like loitering on the taxpayers' premises. We are contesting this election because we believe that we have the better team in the race. We are offering Dominicans the only real development plan that has been put on the table before you. We are fighting this election because we have something of substance to offer all Dominicans. And we are doing so to ensure the national development which Labour has worked to create in this country is not reversed by inexperienced and reckless talkers. In this election, the moment has come for Labour to lay its plans before you and say, judge us. We ask you to judge us on 5 things. 1, the quality of Labour's performance as a government, having to face 2 hurricanes, virtually back to back, and one of them with the devastating power of Maria. 2, the progress of Dominica over the last 20 years. We have moved from the island with the least development to one which is growing rapidly and comparing favorably to our neighbors who used to be far ahead of us. 3, the social services, healthcare, education, housing, and infrastructure Labour has put in place in Dominica, which has modernized this country. Labour's delivery on its past promises made on political platforms and in previous manifestos is number 4. And most importantly, going forward, number 5, the quality and breadth of Labour's new vision for the Commonwealth of Dominica. Over and over, I have invited you to distance yourself from the divisive rhetoric and political schizophrenia that is coming from the other side. 1 minute, they say they are going to sit in Parliament. The next minute, they are not. 1 minute, they say they are not going to participate in elections. The next minute, they are participating. 1 minute, they are going to have constructive meetings. The next minute, they are walking around the city, shouting all through the day, trying to disrupt business and peace. The only thing I have not yet heard them to do in this election or in the lead up to it is articulate a strong, credible, coherent, cohesive, comprehensive vision for Dominica's development. While they are while they are blowing one way and then the next, like grass in a high wind, they will put the country in peril. People's lives and properties will be at risk. Brothers and sisters, if you keep focus, you will not make any mistakes. This election is about putting forward a clear and achievable agenda for Dominica. One that is going to put money in your pockets, food on your tables, a roof over your heads, better health care at your disposal, send your children to school, build economic and environmental resilience, and define the Dominica of the future. In an election campaign, the manifesto is the document in which a political party outlines its national development agenda and plan for the country. It identifies the economic activity that will be drivers of growth. It presents the social policies and programs that will make a difference in people's lives. It demonstrates how young people will get new opportunity, and it indicates by what means the country's seniors will be given comfort as they age. What Labour has been doing consistently, solidly, securely, safely, and well is putting in place the planks and building blocks of sustainability and resilience for the economy, for the society, and for the environment. Our next step is to move into a new level of dynamism. This is a country that is growing. The number of vehicles on the roads, housing, farming, fisheries, healthcare, hotels, education, entertainment, tourism. You name it, it is growing in Dominica, ladies and gentlemen. This is a country in which there are new opportunities for all. This is a country in which all our citizens are respected and looked after, irrespective of their political affiliations. This is a country that is climbing upward. This country and its people are on the move, nationally, regionally, and internationally. That is why we are calling the manifesto Dynamic Dominica. And that is why the provisions of this manifesto are propelling us into a new season of development. This is not the Dominica of the past. Labour is building the Dominica of the future. Labour is not the party of negativity and inexperience. You can count on Labour. You can count on Labour to bring you through in times of crisis, ladies and gentlemen. Labour does not give you empty talk. Labour gives you action and progress. Labour is the party doing exciting things and new things. Labour is the party of change and transformation. Labour is the party with which you are safe. Labour is the party with which your children are secure. Labour is the party with which your hopes for your future can be fulfilled. Labour is defining dynamic Dominica. We are developing dynamic Dominica. And with your vote, your energy, and your collaboration, Labour will deliver on dynamic Dominica. Dynamic Dominica is an inspirational title. This manifesto is an ambitious document representing and reflecting the country's strategic direction under a re-elected Labour Party government. Ambitious though it is within the capacity of Dominicans. It was allegedly Einstein who said that you cannot keep doing the same things in the same way and expect a different result. We have therefore come to a decision that in some aspects of building our people, in the building of our social capital, and in the construction of the national economy, we must go in some new directions. We have to expand the economy, and we must give Dominican youth a sense of belonging and benefit so that they can have a reason to remain at home and help build their country. Tonight's speakers will share with you some of the elements of the manifesto. And in the course of the next few nights, we will be sharing the manifesto provisions sector by sector, candidate by candidate, constituency by constituency, until the entire country recognizes that Labour is wholeheartedly focused on building something valuable and enduring here in Dominica. I cannot cover them all tonight, but I propose to share with you the broad foundations of the manifesto, the core principles and provisions. The manifesto of the Labour Party strives for unity amongst Dominicans everywhere. We are one people, forged by our historical circumstances, and we must work together for a prosperous common future. Under the Labour Party, the task of bringing about the new dynamic Dominica is the dream of us all. And it is the work for us all. We have a responsibility to each other and to the country to work to build dynamic Dominica. It cannot happen on its own. No fairy godparents are standing by with the magic wand. This means that we must work to build her up. Do not look at other countries and envy them. Let us work together to build dynamic Dominica up so they can envy us. Believe me, my friends, we are on the way there. Dominica is ahead with the best, most resilient public housing in the entire Caribbean. And we are the only government that also provides furniture for houses. Dominica is ahead with climate resilient construction, climate change adaptation, and disaster risk preparedness. Dominica is ahead with some of the most advanced technology and diagnostic capacity in our new hospital at Goodwill, and the 12 new clinics that Dr. Irvin McIntyre will tell you about later. While we complain without considering how far we have come from, people here in the region and all over the world are looking on and admiring us in Dominica. The manifesto is laid out with a pictorial that traces the history, the challenges faced, and the success of labor. It then goes into broad sections. Building resilience is section 1. This, as you know, is my signature initiative. While most people think of resilience in the environmental context, the manifesto seeks to create resilience building in the social and economic context. It is the goal of the Labour Party that I lead to build something valuable, sustainable, and enduring. Our national infrastructure has to sustain the people who live in our society. The economy must sustain the infrastructure and the people. It is the people who must build the infrastructure and build productive capacity into the economy. It is the people who must choose social harmony over dishonesty and discord. Under the Labour Party, Dominica will become the Caribbean's model of global sustainability and best practices. To address climate resilience, we intend to put our utilities on the ground. Utilize building standards that allow our properties to stand against extreme weather events, as indeed houses built under this administration were able to withstand the might of Maria. We will build disaster resource centers across Dominica with community evacuation plans at Cassibruce, Grand Bay, Jimit, the Kalnago Territory, Marigot, Portsmouth, and Roseau. As part of our leadership and our pursuit of the necessity of being the first climate resilient nation in the world, we will develop a blue economy based on our fisheries sector and modernization of the fishing fleet and the sustainable exploitation of the marine environment. We will build a green economy by reducing our ecological footprint and protecting our natural environment while earning from it responsibly. Also, by utilizing renewable energy from geothermal resources, banning single-use plastics, and giving incentives for electric vehicles. Our plan to construct 5,000 climate-resilient houses is well underway, as are our efforts to reinforce our drainage and defenses and establish in Dominica a global center for climate studies. The economy of dynamic Dominica is the next section of the manifesto, but as Minister of Finance, I want to come back to that in some detail later. The economy of dynamic Dominica is followed by the section, the infrastructure and governance of dynamic Dominica. Someone will deal with governance, but I want to focus for just a few minutes under two major provisions of this section: the construction of cruise and cargo piers at the Woodbridge Bay. You have already witnessed the many jobs that labor has created with cruise tourism. There have been opportunities for truckers, taxis, and buses. There have been opportunities for fishermen and farmers. There have been opportunities for vendors, restaurants, and shops. In and out of town, the place is full of activity. Musicians, artists are at work, making more money than they did before, welcoming cruise passengers, and then working in the new hotels. The cruise liners come to Dominica, and with them comes cash, which grows the economy, expands businesses, and creates jobs. We will now expand our cruise capacity by building a cruise port to hold more cruise ships and bring even greater activity into the city. The revenue from cruise passengers will increase when we start selling more branded Dominican products, such as boxed coconut water, cassava, breadfruit, plantain and banana chips, dried fruits, jellies, jams, and sweets made in cottage industries across Dominica. All these tertiary agricultural products will provide a new revenue stream for our farmers and foreign exchange for the economy. A cargo port is essential to do business in the modern world, to export and import goods, and to act as a hub and transit point. To capture a share of the regional trade market, we will construct a well-equipped cruise pier with proper facilities. These facilities will bring us fully up to the level of a modern economy, with the kind of international transport facilities necessary to conduct global business competitively. While we are on the subject of international links into Dominica, I ask you, do you remember Canefield Airport? Do you remember the old Melville Hall Airport? But look at the Douglas Charles Airport, improved, upgraded, and with the capacity to handle night flights. We did not have that before Labour came in office in Dominica, ladies and gentlemen. The very next step in air transport in Dominica is our new international airport. Which our good and reliable friend, who helped us with a new, modern, exceptionally well-equipped hospital, will finance the construction of. It will be a new airport of which all Dominicans can be proud and will be proud of. I am happy that the Chinese have agreed to assist us, because after Erica and Maria, money had to be diverted to rebuilding the country, and the airport had to be placed on the back burner to deal with more pressing concerns relating to the people who had lost everything. But with the funding from the People's Republic of China, we will have our new international airport in Dominica. Dynamic Dominica is within our grasp. The manifesto goes into our social programs in detail under the title, The People of Dynamic Dominica. It indicates the interest groups to whom we will pay special attention in this new development agenda for Dynamic Dominica. I am going to tell you who these groups are so that you can see for yourself the level of detailed thinking that went into identifying and framing programs for the entire country. The section on the people of Dynamic Dominica includes a hand up for the poor, a brick for the middle class, our education and training, our health, our housing, artists and musicians, civil servants, Dominicans with disabilities, farmers and fisherfolk, horticulturists, Kalinagos, nurses, police and firemen, seniors and pensioners, sports persons, teachers, vulnerable persons, youth, Dominica's diaspora. The manifesto ends with the section Dynamic Dominica and the World. I cannot speak to this section at any length tonight, except to identify its importance in two matters. First, it deals with a Dominican diaspora whose skills, goodwill, energy, and resources we need to help build Dynamic Dominica. It also points to the fact that this government prudently extended our global footprint with strategic friendships which advanced our national interests. My international standing and negotiation ability, together with that of the Labour Party, allowed Dominicans to get cheap oil and gas from our Petro-Caribbean relationships with Venezuela, when oil prices were the highest ever in the world. And now this government's relationship with China has given us a new hospital and will next give us an international airport. As Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, I want to return to the second section of the manifesto, the economy of Dynamic Dominica. I do not want to speak for an hour, so I can only give highlights tonight of new initiatives which I did not mention before. I want to give this bright, keen, and competent team which I lead full exposure, and tonight they will be presenting various aspects of the manifesto, including the section on the economy. But I want to set for you the broad framework for a new economic direction. The economy of Dynamic Dominica must be built on our natural assets, our hard-earned gains, our creative people, our joint national effort, and Labour's vision for our country, for Dominicans, and for our future. The Dominica Labour Party will preserve Dominica's natural assets and our reputation as a nature isle. Our citizens must make a living from this natural beauty while ensuring that it is not destroyed. Your Labour Party has started and will continue to build a dynamic and vibrant economy and society in which all Dominicans have a stake, to which everyone contributes and from which everyone benefits. Dynamic Dominica's future economy will be constructed on these planks and building blocks. Revitalizing Roseau, agriculture and fisheries, eco and nature isle tourism, the Kalinago and Creole cultures, improved air and sea access, a digital economy, a marijuana industry, entrepreneurship, innovation, investment, and small business, export promotion, and development. Some of these areas I have been speaking to over the last few weeks, but let me just mention a few new ones. Creole-style tourism, nature isle living, and living Creole style will allow us to showcase Dominica's cultural heritage and develop a local equivalent of Airbnb for the many tourists who do not want to stay at hotels, who are interested in homestay programs for visitors and community-based fetes all year round, ecotourism and wellness activities. The Creole Festival, which we so successfully hosted, with many benefiting, will be expanded, and similar festivals established year-round to allow communities to earn money. These festivals will be based around community competitions, art, culture, food, music, dance, and sports. Culture Village will be set up as a site for local artists to sell arts and crafts. Artists will perform, and local vendors will sell various types of foods and other goods. This space will function as a multi-purpose location to attract new businesses, especially those owned by women. Spaces will be set aside for hair braiders, nail technicians, masseurs, and others who provide personal care and beauty services. The Culture Village will also hold a hall for hosting weddings, shows, and other activities. It will be a multi-use location for public entertainment and recreation. What we are doing is taking the real Dominica, the natural Dominica, and ensuring it provides decent work, a decent standard of living, and jobs for all Dominicans. This new economic thrust will be the engine that drives dynamic Dominica. Together, you and I will make it happen. Labor wants your votes. Labor wants to work with you to build a just, equitable, vibrant economy and society with opportunities and money for all. Dynamic Dominica belongs to you, the people of Dominica. Dynamic Dominica belongs to our children. Dynamic Dominica will become, with God's grace, the leading small economy and society in the Caribbean, with an abundance of new jobs and a better standard of living for all. Some of you will be told that labor is promising too much and that it cannot be done. Let me remind you, they said that the rebuilding labor promised after Maria was impossible, but labor did it. They said a new hospital was impossible, but labor did it. They said the new roads and reconstruction were impossible, but labor did it. They said the new hotels were impossible, but labor did it. Nelson Mandela said that things always seem impossible until someone does them. Labour has always done the seemingly impossible in Dominica. So tell the doubting Thomases that Labour will do the impossible again. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, residents, citizens, I see Dynamic Dominica in my prayers. I think the building of Dynamic Dominica through in my head. I feel Dynamic Dominica in my heart. And I believe in Dynamic Dominica because of my faith. Dynamic Dominica will be ours in Dominica. All of us. And you can believe it and shout it to the rooftops that Dynamic Dominica will be ours.
Highest grades we blaze.
The new Dynamic Dominica is coming, ladies and gentlemen. You have seen it start in projects all over Dominica. With Almighty God, all things are possible. All things are possible. With labor, putting our hands and our faith in God for the building of Dynamic Dominica, and with the country putting its hands in labors, Dynamic Dominica will be built for our children and for their children. It is therefore now my honor and my pleasure to unveil for you Dynamic Dominica, the 2019 Manifesto of the Dominica Labour Party. This is a cutting-edge document that has come about after months of consultation with interest groups across Dominica. Tonight, a copy of this document shall be yours. $10,000 copies are available right here in Dominica, ladies and gentlemen. And shall be distributed from constituency offices and party headquarters as of noon tomorrow. Additionally, for the first time in the history of Dominica, we are not leaving the diaspora behind. Dominicans living abroad shall not have to wait for a copy to be posted of our trip home to access a hard copy of this document. As I speak to you tonight, copies of this manifesto are arriving in major cities of the diaspora, including New York, New Jersey, Boston, Toronto, Houston, Florida, Havana, Beijing in China, ladies and gentlemen, and the list goes on. Thousands of copies have been sent to prominent Dominicans living in these various capitals and comrades and friends living abroad should begin to access copies as early as tomorrow evening. Additionally, no matter what is happening on this stage at the time, I want you to remind me at 10 p.m. sharp to launch the web version of this manifesto. I will tell you at 10 p.m. how to access a full turn-page edition of this manifesto on the phone you're holding in your hand, or the tablet or desktop you're utilizing to view the streaming of this event. So do not forget, remind me at 10 p.m. sharp to launch the web version of Dynamic Dominica, so each of you can leave here tonight with access to an electronic copy of this document. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dominica Labour Party is organized. The Dominica Labour Party is ready. The Dominica Labour Party is ready to continue its governance of this beautiful country of ours. Others called for an election, but up to now, they don't have a poster, far less a t-shirt, far less a manifesto, ladies and gentlemen. There is one party in this country. There is one party in this country with a vision and plan for taking Dominica forward. And that party is the Dominica Labour Party. I therefore invite you now to listen intently as members of our dynamic team share with you highlights of this very impressive document. I thank you for the courtesy of listening to me. May God bless our efforts and may God bless our Commonwealth of Dominica.
Words get me high so I can meditate. Oh, dreams of brighter days.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are building this dynamic Dominica for our children and for their children. And therefore, it is my distinct honor and privilege to hand a copy of the manifesto to a young girl, Miss Esprit. She is the first non-candidate who will receive a copy of the manifesto in Dominica. Miss Esprit.
Words get me high so I can meditate. Oh, dreams of brighter days. Highest grades we blaze. Dreams of brighter days. Giving thanks.
Giving thanks and life
Goes by giving thanks and praise.
as I go find my window and glance through my window, I realize there's no turning back.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been tasked with the responsibility of introducing the speakers. I want to invite a very distinguished lady who will speak on education, human resource development, and family. And I believe that the family in our country is a very important institution. And with the qualities and characteristics of Teacher Bonnie, Mrs. Octavia Alfred, I believe this country and our family will be given tremendous attention. Teacher Bonnie brings a distinct quality to the table. Very prayerful. We look to her for guidance and counsel on many matters. Always prayerful, always providing guidance and advice to us within the party. And when we have people of such caliber making themselves available to be the representatives and servants of the people, I believe the future of Dominica is bright. And so, it is with a sincere heart that I invite and welcome my friend, my colleague, our guidance counselor, Teacher Bonnie, Mrs. Octavia Alfred, to speak to us on education.
Something's happening, and it's so exciting. People just having fun, one big celebration, must be a really grand occasion. Something's happening.
Good night, labor rights. Honorable Prime Minister and colleague candidates. Whitney Houston sang, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. The Dominican Labour Party also believes that the children are the future and we should let them lead the way by teaching them well. And we know that teachers know that the children are the future of any nation. Labour believes that the future development of this nation is directly in the hands of our teachers. Effective teaching and learning and professional development is important for students' achievement. This Dominican Labour Party, under Prime Minister's carrot, a man who is passionate about education, a man who has done so much to ensure that every single Dominican has access to education, a man who has done his best to uplift this country through education, a man who has transformed the schools, opportunities for teachers, and education in this country, has continuously equipped our teachers for the task they have to perform. Labor has put more training programs in place for teachers than ever in this country, and all of us in labor will continue this training to ensure the reconstruction of the teaching methods. In my manifesto, in this manifesto, we make it clear that this Labour Party will continue the process of effecting change in the teaching and learning process by running special tests with our students to establish their learning styles. When teachers become aware of students' learning styles, they plan and deliver lessons that better cater for the learning styles of our students. These test results will guide teachers on how to plan and teach so that they reach those who learn by using sound and music, those who learn by speech and writing, those who learn using their hands and their sense of touch, those who learn through logic and reasoning. No child will be excluded, left behind, or made to feel like less than a valuable human being. Labor, our teachers will be trained on how to cater for diversity in the classroom. This will ensure that all our students experience a level of success and grow to be productive adults. The education of all our children is safer with labor. Dominica has very good teachers. The result of the grade 2 national assessment, the grade 4 national assessment, the grade 6 national assessment, CCSLC and CSEC have shown we are on the upward track. As a teacher, I join with Labour Party in thanking all our teachers and Ministry of Education personnel for your efforts. But there are still many cases where despite all efforts, planning and instruction, some students fall behind their level in literacy and numeracy. They have reading problems and they cannot do maths. That does not mean that they are stupid. Oh no. Because they are the ones who learn the lyrics to the song first. And they are the ones who give us the steps to the dance and the lyrics for the rap and the choral speeches. They are the ones bringing the trophies to the display cupboards because they are on the football, cricket, netball, basketball, and volleyball teams. They put their school name on news, but they cannot read and do maths. They build and design the costumes for the carnival bands, and they bring to their school the first prize, but they cannot read and do maths. Teachers read the questions on the test paper to them, and these students give a detailed and accurate answer, but they just cannot read, and they themselves cannot do maths. These children have a learning disability, and they don't know that. In many cases, their parents don't know what it is. And sometimes the teachers are not clear as to what is the problem, and they do not know what to do. These children honestly see SAW SAW for WAS was. They call BD. They see words and letters back to front, and they cannot sound and blend letters. Others have maths problems. They cannot put numbers in order. They cannot understand calculation, time, and measurement. Sometimes our students cannot see or hear properly, and we do not know that. We hustle them. We criticize them. We break them down. People look straight into those beautiful eyes, and they ask these children, "Where you seen from now?" They look into those beautiful eyes, and they ask them, "Where are your eyes? Where are your ears?" Although we see them in the right place. Your child ears and eyes are in the right place. They are where they should be. But your child has problems that you do not know about. In this dynamic labor, in this manifesto, labor will put testing in place to ensure that children with learning disabilities and physical disabilities like vision and hearing are caught early, corrected and helped, so that our beautiful, intelligent children are not labeled stupid. Your child will thrive under labor. Labor. Measures will be put in place to train our teachers and to provide resources and intervention to address these problems. We strive in this manifesto to ensure all our students are taught in a way that ensures that they learn, therefore guaranteeing the success of all our students. The success of your child is safer with labor. In the classroom of Dynamic Dominica, we will use creative teaching methods to include technology. And we will ensure that these students will be tested based on how they are taught. Too often, we blame our teachers for the failure of our children. We train them to teach our special children using special and varied method. Then we give the entire group the same assessment. Then we ask, who is failing these children? If these children are taught differently, they should be assessed differently. And this new Dominica Labour Party, this manifesto, will ensure that these students are assessed based on how they were taught to ensure that they succeed. We will introduce a secondary school of arts, vocation and technical studies from Form 3, catering to students who want to pursue these fields. We need to prepare our musicians. We need to prepare our artists and chefs. We need to prepare our drink specialists or mixologists. We need to prepare home managers, decorators, and other skilled personnel at a high standard so that they can take advantage of all the new job opportunities at all our new hotels and to serve with excellence. Labor. I hear you, my teachers. You see, they are coming with all kinds of nice things for students. More work for teachers, more planning for teachers, but they're not saying anything for the teachers. Don't come so. No way. This Dominican Labour Party, under the Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, has shown you, the teachers of Dominica, that we care about you. We have put training in place and assisted and facilitated teachers in accessing this training. Efforts were made to improve classrooms and computer labs. We were just lifting off in some areas and Maria came. But we picked up, we dusted up, and we started again. This manifesto makes provision for Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit and the Dominican Labour Party to continue regarding the efforts of our hard-working teachers. Labour, in addition to all we've done, healthcare will be provided for teachers, beginning with dental and eye care. Labour, the Dominican Labour Party understands why you feel sometimes so distant from your supervisors in the ministry. You want closer collaboration and working relationship. Well, it is coming because like students, teachers will be safer with labor. This is why this Dominican Labour Party manifesto makes provision to establish a system of annual meetings to encourage more frequent interaction and constructive dialogue between the officials of the Ministry of Education and our teachers. Teachers are the Ministry of Education too. Labour, teachers work hard and so many of them miss out on their benefits because they are not appointed. The Dominican Labour Party has begun the process of appointing a first batch of teachers. And this manifesto makes provision to appoint qualified teachers 2 years after training. In this regard, we encourage all our teachers to ensure that they have the necessary requirements to meet the criteria for appointment. Although the salary will never be enough for the work that they have to do, so many of our teachers continue to find the financial resources to further their education in an effort to personally develop themselves to be better equipped to serve the children of this country. This Labour Party knows your story, and we have assisted many teachers in this regard. In addition, this manifesto, in it we commit to establish an annual teacher training grant to help the top teacher at every school to enable you to engage in a program which will benefit your school. Labour, I worked as a teacher for 34 years. I worked on a perform well with excellence, work hard, and watch and pray mode. In this modern time, the Dominican Labour Party understands that this method cannot continue. As a party of change, we will effect change to ensure job security for our teachers. So in this manifesto, we address the need to have a clearly defined career path for teachers with proper job description, qualification levels, and remuneration. We will establish the post of deputy principal, assistant deputy principal, heads of department, senior graduate teacher, senior qualified teacher, and qualified teacher. Labour, our teachers will be safer under labor as we build a new dynamic Dominica. I thank all our teachers again, and I assure you that I will work in this Labour Party to ensure that in the new dynamic Dominica, our education system will continue to be transformed into one of the best in the Caribbean. Labour, good night. God bless you. God bless Dominica. Labour, God bless all the teachers of Dominica. Good night.
And it's so exciting. People just having fun. One big celebration. Must be a really grand occasion.
I looked at your faces while Teacher Bonnie was speaking. And when she spoke about students and the new experiences students will have in school, I saw many of you were saying, well, I wish I was a student now under Labour. And then when she spoke about teachers, I saw the reaction and saying, look, my God, can I be a teacher, please? So I want to thank Teacher Bonnie for what an excellent presentation on Labour's new vision for education. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker is Dr. Addis King, the candidate for the Dominican Labour Party in the St. Joseph constituency. Dr. King exemplifies what resilience and hard work is. And in the face, she has turned adversity into success. She did not allow her circumstance to determine her future. And Dr. King took advantage of the education revolution which Labour instituted when it came into office in 2000. And so she has been able to grow her career from a lab tech to a medical doctor to a consultant, all done because of the vision of the Dominican Labour Party. And so she is a source of motivation for all young people across Dominica. That yes, you will be faced with an adversity, but that should not determine your future. It should serve as a source of motivation for you. And with Labour, you know everything is possible with the help of God. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to invite you to the podium and to address you on the section dealing with gender affairs and social services and targeting poverty reduction, elderly care, among so many other areas. And the best person, I believe, who could present this to us, based on her own background, is Dr. Addis King. Dr. King, please come.
Doing the caring hands of the doctor. You know it. St. Joseph. They know. Dr. King will run things in St. Joseph. They know. Tell them they know. Dr. King go win and Labour can't go. They know.
Laborites, a pleasant good evening to all of you. Allow me to recognize the presence of our Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, and his wife, Mrs. Melissa Popon Skerrit, our Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Reggie Austri, and my fellow candidates. Good night to you, Laborites. A special good night to the people of Maho. And a special good night to the numerous people from the St. Joseph constituency. Dominicans, both here and abroad, we are building dynamic Dominica. And I am proud to be part of this formidable team who will surely build dynamic Dominica. We are making history, and together as Dominicans, whether we are living here in Dominica or outside of Dominica, we should ensure that we do what it takes to accomplish this goal. Our Labour Party is the only party with a clear vision for Dominica. The Labour Party is the only party with a plan to build Dominica. The Labour Party is the only party with the resources required to build Dominica. The Labour Party is the only party that is structured and ready to build dynamic Dominica. Labour! My brothers and sisters, as part of this dynamic Dominica, continued focus will be placed on our social services, developed and executed by this Labour Party, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerrit. These programs were aimed at improving the lives of ordinary Dominicans, men and women like those who live here in this constituency, like the ones who live in my constituency, like those of us all over Dominica. Let me tell you what is in this manifesto. In this season of development, this new season of development, we will provide our vulnerable citizens with opportunities for education and training to empower them with the ability to benefit from decent work and higher paying jobs. So whether it be in tourism, the new marijuana market, the Creole style branding, training for construction, the new hospitality institute, the new international airport, the new cruise terminal, our agricultural expansion, or the digital economy, this government will target the most aggressive job creation program in the Caribbean. Labour! This training and job thrust will reduce poverty, will reduce hardship and social marginalization, and allow people, the people you know and see all around you, to enjoy a higher standard of living and improve the quality of life in the new dynamic Dominica. Labour! In the new term, when you elect the new Labour government, greater emphasis will be placed on mothers and the families because they are the backbone of our society. Labour! My brothers and sisters, how many of us were raised by a single parent? How many of us struggled to meet our daily needs? How many of us became single parents ourselves? We all know the sense of despair when we are not able to take care of our children. We all know the pain when we cannot assist our parents. We all know how hopeless we feel when we are faced with the daily financial challenges. My brothers and sisters, this Labour Party government in the next term of office will give support to our families with children and elderly adults who need special care. Labour! We will increase the maternity grants to $1,000 per child. Labor! We will remove VAT on items such as baby diapers, baby wipes, adult diapers, lifting chairs, wheelchairs, bathroom aids, reclining beds. Labor! With these measures in place, the most vulnerable among us will have more disposable income and therefore improve the quality of life. My brothers and sisters, we will provide psychologists and school counselors to help our young people cope with stress and challenges that they face and cannot be controlled at home. We all remember the days as young people, the feeling of loneliness, the feeling that no one understands, the feeling that no one cares. Having professional help available to relate to our problems and discuss solutions would have been welcome. I have good news. Thanks to this Labour Party vision, in a new term, we will provide these critical services to our young people. Labour! Labour takes care of all. Labour takes care of all. Labour! Brothers and sisters, this party, while in government, has shown that it cares for the vulnerable in our society, our children, our elderly, our Dominicans with disabilities. And in the new term, Labour will continue to provide for the poor and the marginalized. Labour! Our senior citizens will benefit from increased pension, therefore increasing their quality of life. Those 70 years and over who are not fortunate enough to receive a pension will continue to get the allowance that will be provided by this government. Our elderly will continue to receive free health care at all levels of the healthcare system. The new polyclinics, which will be built all over Dominica, and the community health aides will help our elderly live longer, fuller, healthier, and happier lives. Labour! We have already ensured that a Dominican doctor was trained in geriatrics. Action, our forward-thinking and caring leader. Labour! The Yes We Care program will continue as we take care of those who took care of us. Elderly care is a top priority for the members of this Labour Party. We all know how our leader loves the senior citizens. We will continue to establish new programs to further improve the lives of our aging population. Labour! My brothers and sisters, I was raised in a home where my grandfather was physically challenged as a result of an amputated limb. I remember the fear that we all experienced every time he went out. Scared that he might fall off a step as he climbed up with his crutches. Scared of him being knocked down by a vehicle as there were no sidewalks. Hoping that one day Dominicans with disabilities would be considered in the planning and construction of homes, offices, and business places. Our people who are physically and mentally challenged need to know that they are valued members of our society, that they too can live comfortable, fulfilling, and productive lives. The kind of planning will be the norm for the dynamic Dominica. Labor! This manifesto, launched tonight, commits Labor to conducting a national census to identify our Dominicans with disabilities, the nature and the severity of their disability, so governments can ensure that they are adequately cared for. Labor! We are committed to improve access to the buildings and facilities for Dominicans with disabilities. This Labour Party government will work with international groups and organizations to secure scholarships in order to improve the education of these vulnerable groups and hereby facilitate access to opportunities and enhance their ability to earn. Labor! My brothers and sisters, as you drive along the EO Leblanc Highway and you get to Layo, I know that you have noticed the new Climate Resilient Emergency Center that has just been completed by your Labour Party government. This building is the first of several to be built in strategic areas around the country and is the first of its kind in the Caribbean. Labor! In dynamic Dominica, emergency centers will be fully equipped to provide a range of services, including medical attention to our vulnerable Dominicans in the event of a disaster. You will notice that this building was designed with the physically challenged in mind. Signs of what will come in the new dynamic Dominica. As we all build the public spaces friendly and accessible to Dominicans with disabilities. Labor! The Labour Party, while in government, has proven itself as a caring government. And with this new formidable team, under the experienced leadership of our Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, building dynamic Dominica will include continued care for our people, especially the most vulnerable among us, will be top priority. We have the vision. We have the plans. We have the resources. We have what it takes. We are ready to build dynamic Dominica. I am voting for Labour, and so should you. We should vote for Labour for the sake of our families, for our children, for our senior citizens, for our Dominicans with disabilities, for all of us who were at one time vulnerable, and for all those who continue to be vulnerable. Modern social services and help for the vulnerable were brought to Dominica by Labour. Poor, vulnerable people are safer with labor. Poor, vulnerable people have their best chance with labor. Dominica needs you to vote for the Dominica Labour Party because it is safer with labor. So come December 6th, E-Day, show up in huge numbers. Bring your family, bring your friends. Tell them we are putting the X by the show. We are keeping Dominica safe. We are voting the Dominica Labour Party. 5 more years. 5 more years. I love you. God bless you. Good night.
I see level, I see victory. Victory! I see 5 more years, I see history. Prosperity! I see level, I see victory. We the first, now these are standing for the city. Then it's time.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. The seniors, the children, and those who are gifted, those who are challenged, will all certainly be safer with labor. I want us to take a short break from the manifesto presentation, and I wish to invite Lugas. 5 more years. We are voting labor again. Thank you.
Yeah. Labor rights! Good evening, everybody. All ministers of government. Yeah, man. Are you there with me? Are we voting labor? Oh yes. I see now a large space over there more, you know. All right, let me go, Mr. DJ. Yeah, man. Labor rights! Are you there? Hey!
Whether lightning, thunder, sun or rain, we go to
labor again. Whether lightning, thunder, sun or rain, we go to labor again. We go to labor again.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Mr. DJ. Thank you very much. We fought in labor again. Let me tell you, hold on, Mr. DJ. Let me tell you, hold on, Mr. DJ. Let me tell you why we must vote labor. Some of you may be disgruntled, but listen to me. Memsies of fashe, kwashe. But you have to go and vote the Dominican Labour Party on the 6th of December. Ou oblige fait. Sou pas fait, ou pedi tout ça ou teni pou gagne. Mon ka vertizo. Pas quitter bagay sa faison. Vote the Dominican Labour Party who has the best leader in the teams that going up. I am excited because I know Labour must sit back. Go ahead, Mr. DJ. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let me see you. How you doing? In the air. Labor rights. Labor rights. We giving Dr. Spirit and they provide us again. Hey, 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 hey. Dominicans, Dominicans. If you love Dominica, time to hop the labor train. Hey, 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 hey. A working government, you cannot ignore. Fight by your social. If you're interested in progress, join my family, the Labour family. Where you are abroad and abroad. Like fire, give it. Let me see it. Let me see it. The time drawing near, the election is in here. Calling on labor rights, both near and far. We got in the shoe, of course not the blue. Don't make no mistake, you cannot undo big development under this government. So capable and so transparent. No one nunca sofre, no one nunca chante, no one nunca hele. Zero, baka ale, sote. Labor rights. Labor rights. We giving Dr. Spirit and Labour by the other guy. What you say? Hey, hey, hey. If you love Dominica, time to hop the labor train. Hey, hey, hey. A working government, you cannot ignore. Fight by your social. If you're interested in progress, join my family, the Labour family. Why? Let me see your hands in the air. Let me see you. So much lies ahead. Give me scary instead. To continue the projects that we have started. New hospital here, high food machine there. This is testimony of a great leader. The rating we get, the more better than the rest. Can only continue under this government. Just at the side of it, who shall make a move on it? Scary people will stay, who continue developing. What you say? Labor rights. Labor rights, baby, are you free? Labor rights. We giving Dr. Spirit and Labour by the other day. What you say? Hey, 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 hey. Dominican, let me hear you. Dominican, sing. If you love Dominica, time to hop the labor train. Hey, 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 hey. A working government, we must all ensure. Fight by your
of this government. Laugh when people smiling, cause it brings people shouting. Say what you want, is scare it, we got him. Look at the PM, he love the children. Confiant, confiant, il dit mon chapelet. L'homme l'a toujours boué, il toujours enragé. L'homme l'a toujours fâché. Ça, il qui perd l'élection. Labor rights. We give him Dr. Spirit and never 5 years again. Dominican, Dominican, sing. If you love Dominican, time to hop the level train. A working government, we cannot ignore. Fight for your social. If you're interested in progress, join my family. You're a family. Where you are. Are you ready? Are you ready for this shit? Hey! Hey! Let me see your head right in the air. Give me. Hey! 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 Labor rights. Are you ready? Labor rights. We giving Dr. Spirit and never 5 years again. Are you ready? Hey! 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 Dominicans, if you love Dominican, time to hop the river train. Hey, 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 hey. A working government, you cannot ignore. Fight for your social. Are you there? If you're interested in progress, join my family. You're a family.
Great. Oh, let me tell you something. We need to stand our guards. We need to take the bull by the horn. Don't let nothing you see the other fellas doing. Pas qu'il s'est chargé n'était tout. Parce nous savons la fouille bef nous bonne. We have Mr. Skerrit as our leader and we have no fear. Nous pas ni pour record here. Parce que Premier Ministre, c'est qui met Bouddha yo pas sa fin. Yo ça dit ça yo ça le la yo ça fait problème koyole, mais yo pas ça fait rien. Thank you Labor Rights, thank you.
Labor ka travail, and why? The hotels coming, hospital coming, even airport coming. So never we voting. The hotels coming, hospitals coming, even airport coming. So never we voting. I vote off.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lucas. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall continue with the presentation of aspects of the manifesto. The next speaker will present on the subject community development and rapid response. They say it's 10 o'clock. Not yet. Is it 10 o'clock? 2 minutes to. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll come back to you in a while. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker will present on community development and rapid response. And the person to do this first is Mr. Kent Edwards, our Labour Party candidate for the Lapin constituency. Kent is seen as an unassuming person, very quiet, but very humble. And he has a depth of compassion for senior citizens in particular. As a matter of fact, he would take the medication for the senior citizens to the homes, whether it's in Mont Jean or Rivesserie or Grand Fort or La Plaine or Dalis or Victoria or Boutica, wherever your home was in his district, he would find you and present your medication to you and ensure that he explained to you how you should go about taking his medication. And he coming into politics is really an extension of his service to his people. And so it is my distinct pleasure to invite my friend and colleague, Mr. Kent Edwards, to present on a very important subject of community development and rapid response. Kent?
We moving onwards with Edwards. You know we scared. It's forward. We moving onwards with Edwards. You know we scared. It's forward.
Labour. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. I would like to recognize the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister and Mrs. Kerrit, our Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Reginald Austrie. I am happy tonight to be presenting on our manifesto. I browsed through it earlier on and I can see excitement for the Dominica and the Dominican people coming. We in the rural communities would know what it would be like if we had not been able to communicate or to commute within the communities. And this manifesto of Dynamic Dominica 2019 will go and establish a very good network of primary and secondary roads in these communities, making it easier for us to travel